Hi friends, now if you are thinking about buying a brand new home, new construction this year, I want to tell you something because this is super important that most people do not know, because before you fall in love with that shiny model home, you need to hear this, because new construction homes do come with some major perks, but there are a few surprising downsides that could cost you thousands of dollars if you're not aware of them. So let's go ahead and break down the real pros and cons of buying new construction in 2025 so that you can decide if it is the right move for you and or your family. Now, be sure to stick around until the end as well, because I'm going to reveal one of the strongest new construction communities right now in my market of Charlotte, North Carolina, and really the Carolinas overall, greater Charlotte metro region. I was there yesterday, recently had a buyer close there, and it's honestly one of the best there in this, greater Charlotte region. Now, I'm James Launius. If you've not watched any of my videos before, I'm a local realtor here to greater Charlotte and upper South Carolina, like Fort Mill and Rock Hill, and I help buyers, sellers, and investors every single day, and I get calls from folks just like you every single day looking to connect off my YouTube channel. So if that's you, go ahead and reach out via the phone number on the screen or in the description below. I'd love to help however you may need, looking to add value however I can. And if any of that comes back to me, then that's even more of a bonus. So if you have any type of questions about real estate or the local area, I'm here to help and be your guide. Now, let's go ahead and jump into new construction and discuss some of these pros and cons of buying new. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and talk about some of the main reasons and pros of buying new construction in 2025. Now, the first one is in the name, and that is that everything is brand new, of course. So you're not going to have an outdated kitchen or maybe a worn out HVAC system that you are going to have to repair. It's brand new. It's not old. It has no age other than, if you buy a new home after it's been built. Even those, are going to be less than a year old at most. And another part of this is that you're going to be able to move in without worrying about major repairs or maybe even major maintenance for the next several years. My partner, he and his investment group have bought over 550 new construction homes in Charlotte by now. And I think he said that on average, they've had maybe between 600 to 800 maintenance costs per year. And that's on the high end too. Some of them don't even have any maintenance costs for the first year or two or three or four. So definitely an amazing part of buying new. The updated building codes equal a safer and more energy efficient home overall as well. So that is a super big plus about buying new. Now, the second pro of buying a new home this year is that you're going to be able to customize a ton of different things. You have tons of options from most builders. Not all builders have tons of options and upgrades you can do, but most do. So you can really customize to your liking, to what you and your family are looking for and really need specifically. So it's not all just cookie cutter. A lot of people think that if I'm buying new, I'm just going to get this cookie cutter home, and it might be kind of true, but you can customize and upgrade a ton to exactly what you're looking for. So you're going to be able to choose flooring, cabinetry, countertops, and sometimes even your layout. It's going to be great if you have specific tastes or needs, like maybe you need a work from home space, maybe open dining room or something you want to actually close off so that you can make that a home office, or put in a double door, or maybe even a sliding door, or whatever you want. I mean, they can do a lot of different things. You're going to be able to do that with new construction. So if you're looking for something specific that maybe you don't think you can get in a new construction home, you might actually be able to. So make sure you connect with a good builder who'll be able to give you options, or an agent, more so than that, to just talk with a builder and discuss and negotiate as needed. And you're just going to be able to personalize before you move in instead of renovating after. Whereas, if you would have bought an older home, you're going to have to renovate after. You're going to have to buy it. And if you want to do something, you're going to have to do it yourself. You're not going to be able to just pay for it along with closing and do all that. So super amazing part of buying new. And let's move on to the next 2 points. All right, friends, not to mention some more pros about buying new construction is that most builders, if not all, offer at least 1 to 2 year full warranties, plus a 10-year structural coverage. So usually a year warranty is wall to wall, so everything inside the builder might have done. 2 years is usually appliances inside the walls, like plumbing and electrical, anything that might have been installed incorrectly. 10-year structural, of course, is covering your foundation, anything that might have adjusted or shifted incorrectly due to it being built wrong, basically. So you have really a lot of peace of mind, fewer unexpected costs in those first few years, right? So it's often a lot better than you'd get from a seller on a resale. In fact, most sellers do not offer any type of help or disclosures or warranties for their home, because you're buying it as is. Basically, they didn't build it, so they're not going to try and insure anything. Another pro of buying new is that you get a modern community with tons of great amenities. So new neighborhoods often include sidewalks, parks, pools, clubhouses and trails. So you're not just buying a home, you're buying a lifestyle. Often have really higher resale value due to contemporary finishes and planning. Like I mentioned before with my partner who has 550 plus homes in Charlotte, the reason they buy new and they only buy new construction and then rent them out is because new construction homes appreciate at a much higher rate than typical resales. And as I mentioned in the last couple points is that they have builder warranties. So more insurance if something breaks or goes wrong, less upfront and maintenance costs. And not to mention too, most builders give closing cost credits, which allows you to actually buy down your interest rate for the first 2 to 3 years, depending on how much they give. So that's an amazing opportunity to get basically a lower monthly payment for the first several years. And if you're gonna sell it after 3 or 4 years, you might just be paying that monthly rate lower for that first few years, which is an amazing opportunity. But my question now is, what is the catch? Because obviously it seems like there's tons to love about new builds, but they are not perfect. So let's go and talk about the downsides that most buyers do not realize until it is too late. All right, y'all. So first con of buying new construction homes is that you're gonna probably pay more. So you're gonna have higher purchase prices than some resales because you're gonna pay a premium for getting brand new everything, right? You know, you're gonna have a lot of upgrades, of course, like granite countertops, lighting, and flooring that are going to cost extra. If you do want upgrades and you know, additional things added to make it a little more luxurious, those are gonna be expensive. You know, you're going to pay for them. And I would say a lot of builders are not willing to really negotiate on the price like individual sellers would be. So, you know, they have a set price that they have and they set them and move them up and down based on the market and based on what they need to do. And they're not going to be able to, you know, give you a super huge cut on price like some sellers would be able to. Now, another con of buying new is that sometimes you're going to have a construction delay. So whether it's due to weather or maybe material shortages or permitting issues, these can all cause delays in your move by weeks or months. I've seen even longer sometimes for some buyers. So it's hard to plan your move or coordinate your sale if your timeline keeps shifting due to builder delays or for whatever reason, it's just getting pushed back. So a real life example, you know, one buyer that I worked with for a bit, they had to push their move in date like 3 or 4 times. And I think they ended up getting their key like 12 to 15 months after they actually signed their contract, which is crazy. So that's a major drawback in terms of new construction sometimes. So another con buying new is that you have limited negotiation power. So builder sales reps are not your friend. They work for the builder, not you. So make sure if you do buy new, you get with a good buyer agent because they're going to pay a commission to a buyer agent. Usually, I would say 100% of the cases, but I'll just say 99.99 to be, you know, safe in case there isn't a builder that does. But yeah, basically you need to work with a good buyer agent because they will negotiate on your behalf and they'll work for their commission to help you as a client, right? Now, another thing is that incentives are often tied to using their preferred lender or title company, so you don't get the freedom to choose your own. You might get upgrades or closing costs, but usually not both. So, you know, you're just a little bit more tied down in terms of negotiation. You're not going to be able to, you know, Dave Ramsey it and, you know, bring in a wad of cash and expect the world. So yeah, basically you get a little less negotiation. The fourth con of buying new is location trade-off. So many new communities are actually further from major cities or job hubs. You may have to sacrifice commute time or proximity to established schools and different areas that you might want to live in because, you know, these builders are finding areas that are more open, maybe rural, where there's plenty of room to build, and you know, they're putting a new community here. So yeah, the first few years could mean living near active construction zones. You know, if they're still building the, you know, community in like 3 phases, and you're in the first phase, there's going to be building for a good amount of time, right? So that's one trade-off that some people, you know, find a little bit troubling with new construction. All right, friends. So last con I want to mention about buying new in 2025 is that not all builders are created equal. So there's a risk of inconsistency with build quality. And I've actually thought about doing a video about going over all the different builders and which ones you should probably avoid and which ones are super reputable, especially here in my market. If you'd be interested in a video like that, just let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, other than that, I mean, fast growing companies are, you know, cutting corners in some ways. They're rushing subcontractors. They're maybe pushing home building a little bit too much if there's bad weather. When in reality, maybe they should wait a little bit longer. So I would always get a third-party inspection if you can, even if it's a brand new home. I mean, I've seen some of the inspections, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've gotten for new build homes are longer than a lot of the ones on resale homes, just because, you know, sometimes people rush and maybe the builder isn't the best. So definitely something to be aware of. That's another reason people are a little bit hesitant about buying new, is that the, inconsistency of build quality varies greatly from builder to builder. And unless you know which ones are super reputable, then you're going to be, kind of left in the dust and maybe even in a not very good place. Also say this too, one thing that a lot of people don't know is that even if a, certain big name builder is not good in a certain market or neighborhood or for a certain community, doesn't always mean they're going to be bad for a community of theirs in a different area. I say that because every single community that you buy from, whether it's, Meritage, D.R. Horton, Pulte, KB Homes, whatever, they're going to have a specific builder assigned to that community that's going to be completely different from maybe the other builder in the other community that still has their brand name that didn't do a good job. So just be aware of that. That's the reason, some people are a little bit worried about buying new. All right, friends. So all in all, the question becomes, should you buy a new construction home in 2025? Well, to answer that, it really depends on your goals. So if you were looking for a low maintenance, energy efficient, and a move-in ready space, new builds are a fantastic option, probably the best, to be honest. But if things like budget or established locations, maybe even timeline flexibility are your priority, you might want to take a look at resales as well, because that might be your best option. So that being said, pause, because I get calls and texts from people like you every single day trying to figure out what the best, home buying or home selling option or investment option for that matter is for them. I love connecting with people off my YouTube channel, and it's just a super cool way to get to know people and add value wherever I can. So if that is you, if you need help at any point in your real estate journey, if you need advice about the local market or my local area here in the Carolinas, go ahead and reach out via the phone number on the screen in front of you right now. I would love to hear from you and connect. Would love to add value to you however I can. Now, as promised, here is one of the strongest new construction communities right now in the entire Charlotte market, and that is none other than, drumroll, Hamilton Woods by D.R. Horton. So this community is amazing. It is one of the most exciting options, whether you're buying for yourself or an investor. I just had a buyer close there last week. He was a veteran buyer, and he, of course, with a veteran VA loan, he got in for $0 down. He plans to live in it a year, and because of the amazing appreciation and quality of that community, he's probably going to rent it in the next year or two after he lives in there a year. It's just an amazing investment. It's going to be an amazing cash flow property with tons of amazing value, a corner lot. And I've got clients under contract there and looking there. My investor partner, he has, I think, 4 to 5 homes in this community as well. So this offers affordable pricing, great layout, strong rental demand. I mean, you're going to be able to rent your home, which model you buy, for $2,700 right off the bat, which is not too far off from your mortgage. So it's a really strong investment place. And being backed by D.R. Horton, one of the nation's top builders, you get a lot of consistent quality and all that. So if you want more details on what's currently available in Hamilton Woods, I'm connected with the builder reps there and builder agents. Or if you want help finding a great new build in your budget, go ahead and send me a message, text me or call me at that same number I mentioned earlier. Help bearers like you every single week find the best community for them in their lifestyle. And I'd love to be your guide. So other than that, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. My wife and I put all kinds of videos out there, all the way from money and finance, obviously real estate. We talk about our local market and community, all about the, Carolinas in general. So if you enjoy that and you would like to stay in touch and follow our journey, go ahead and subscribe and follow us for more content like this. Otherwise, we hope you have a blessed day. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to connecting with you soon.